Dayin. Whoop. It's a bit of a dark day today, honestly. It's dark. So, yay. It's rainy today also. So, yes, introductions. My name is Gulder. This is my... I have to think every single time I start. I have to think. This is my project pile number 35, I think? So prepared. Anyway, project pile. This is a podcast by yours truly about yarn, knitting, crocheting, and anything yarn related, fiber related, anything that I learn, because I keep learning new things. I also tend to talk quite a bit about the weather because the weather affects me a lot. And you know, anything else that I think that is going to fall out of my mouth, basically. Yes, I do talk a bit about the weather because, as I've said before, listen, if the weather is bad, it affects my internet connection, and when my internet connection is affected, that means that when I actually do upload my weekly videos, that sometimes can mean it can take up to 36. I think my record is about 38 hours getting one video up, and I think it was like 15 minutes long video, if that long. That was fun times, but yeah, if it's snowing or raining in another part of the country, that affects my internet connection because things that I don't know about. Whoop. But yeah, anyway, knitting. I haven't done a lot this week. I was gonna do so much more, but okay, before I talk about knitting, eyebrows. So right, so I have invisible eyebrows. So when I discovered that you could actually dye your eyebrows, and you know, there's a lot of products that you can use to make your eyebrows visible, that was a heaven sent for me. And usually I use a lot, like I use a pencil to draw in my eyebrows because I like being able to express with my eyebrows for them to be visible. And some people have been talking about how they feel that my eyebrows are too dark. I was really starting to agree with them because they did look a little bit dark, so I decided to go with a more fitting color. It's a dark blonde. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. Like, it look not that bad on the viewfinder, but I like darker. So makeup over, knitting on. Yes, I didn't do. I'm sorry if this is your first time seeing this. I will be all over the place. Like, maybe unfortunately, maybe you just relate to it. If so, hey, we're on the same team. But I probably will be all over the place. Sorry, in advance. Sorry. Yeah, knitting. I haven't managed. I feel like I haven't managed a lot. Like, okay, maybe a little bit. Okay. Well, I'll take that back. I've done quite a bit. But the thing is, I was intending to finish the sleeve this week because that shouldn't have been a problem, and it isn't a problem. It's just I always feel that I am slow with my knitting, but then I'm like, then it's stuck with other people, and they're like, no, you're not slow. It's so nice, but I still feel slow. Because actually, I was talking. I was talking about this exact thing with my mother the other day, and I do realize it's silly. I am being extremely silly because the people I'm measuring against, they have been knitting for as long as I have been alive. A lot of them are either retired or working part-time, and this is their main hobby. So the fact that they managed to finish a sweater in a lot couple of shredders by the time that I finish one sleeve. It's a bit of a exaggeration, but yeah. I shouldn't be measuring up against them because it's silly. It's silly. But I'm a silly person, so I keep doing it. But look, I'm up above the elbow. So cool. And I like... So we start talking about the positives because that's a lot more fun. I really like how the... No, focus on this, thank you. How the wool in the Hollyhock, the colors, the variation, like, it comes a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. What's the word? You could say the color's uneven, but there's a better word for it because this is pretty. Yes. So I like it. I am working on being more positive towards myself. So yay. On a side note, remember last time I was talking about the knitting needles? I am still on the feeling. This is so silly. It's so silly. Like, look at them. Okay, these are bamboo knitting. Hi. Would you focus? Thank you. These are bamboo knitting needles, and you will notice that the points. Can you focus? Thank you. These are perfectly made knitting needles. They are extremely soft. They're so nice to use, and the points are not splintered. My brain keeps trying to tell me every time I'm just knitting, every single stitch that I knit, my brain keeps trying to just insisting that the points are splintered and the wool is just catching on. It's not. Every single one of these five knitting needles, they are perfect, they are fine, they are splendid. It's just my brain, because this is wood on wool. It's so weird. But apparently my brain is just absolutely convinced that these are going to splinter and be nasty and unpleasant. They are not. They have been a dream to work with. They are absolutely splendid and just... It's so weird how your brain works. Like, my brain is just weird. But, so yeah, apparently my brain literally prefers metal with wool. But if you ever have the chance to buy these are the I'm gonna try and pronounce it. Yes, I am. Yeah. They are made in China. Hopefully you can read it. If you have the chance to try these out, or if you do have them, honestly I would recommend trying them out because they are lovely. Also really light. Light knitting needles, always a plus. These are absolutely fine. Though in my case it would probably be better for me to use them with like something else than wool. I have had trouble speaking today. Yeah, to me. Because my brain, I don't know what it is. My brain just keeps going splintering. No, brain, it isn't. Because this Hollyhock, right? Absolutely wonderful. I was thinking about just now because this thread, it doesn't. Oh, you know how with some fibers or some types of yarns, the threads, just kind of like splint or separates, which can actually be lots of. It can actually be how you gonna put it? words. I have the pictures in my brain, but they aren't translating into words. They're not turning out in Icelandic or English, they're just pictures in my head. You know how with some fibers, if it's not like perfectly like woven, bit like the plötulopi, which is the it's Icelandic, very lightly spun wool. I still don't feel like that splinters a lot. Like, you can easily like tear it or, you know, separate it but just like pulling. But it isn't unpleasant to work with. Like, it doesn't like go, you know, threads every which way, because it isn't a combination of threads, it's lightly spun wool. So that's not a good example. What am I trying to say? Like, some yarn that you have, it's made of a bunch of threads that are then spun also again together or chained or something, whatever. And sometimes working with some yarn is just a little bit annoying because the threads they just separate, but they can also be so good because they separate so much, because the end project ends up being like this light or fluffy and fluff type of thing, if you don't end up burning it, because it's frustrating. But this does not separate, so I think it's also just like the texture maybe of the wool. Can you hear it? Yeah, might also just simply be the texture of the Icelandic wool that is tricking my brain. But again, I'm gonna show you the picture of the prettiness. So I'm actually done with the body. I think I'm still gonna go like 1 or 2 rounds just to be absolutely sure about the length. And whoop, got 1 sleeve. So that does not mean I'm more than halfway done. Happy thoughts! But yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated, because for some reason, you know how sometimes you're just sailing along, you're doing very well with whatever, like knitting or crocheting or I don't know, writing stories or painting or whatever. Like, you're just sailing along very nicely, and you're like, great, I can have this done by next week or the week after that, and then you don't. Because your attention just goes, it's like beach sand. Your attention is like the beach or the sand on the beach, and you think it's there, and it is there. But then the sea comes in and the sand just, it's not there anymore. So I am more than halfway done with first sleeve, so that's that. Still gonna keep working on it, because obviously it's gonna be so nice. Like, when I have it all together and I'm done with the because if I haven't told you yet, because keep I love this, because you start off with Léttlopi, which is finer type of Icelandic wool. You start with 3.5mm knitting needles. Do this. Oh, the lighting is so bad. But yeah, you do this like this thing. Then you switch over to 4.5mm and you do this thing. And then you switch over to 8mm knitting needles and you switch over to Árafoslopi, so it's like bigger and fluffier. There are no increases. I love it. Absolutely love it. And that's the shredder. You cast on with the Léttlopi. You make like the hem and you make the cuffs on the sleeve, and then you switch over to Árafoslopi, and then you combine it all together, and the lining is gonna be again in Léttlopi, so it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so different. It's like, this is such a simple sweater also. This is good because the next sweater, I'm not sure when I'm gonna finish it, but because obviously I haven't started because I'm gonna finish this one. But I have all the Léttlopi. I got the last of the wool that I need to make. Not this paper. This one. This asymmetrical open and back and front chaos of patterns. It's subtle in colors though. It's very traditional in colors. But like, look at that. It's gonna be so different to make. Also, I'm gonna need to go over my button collection because you need 13 mismatched. No two buttons alike. You need 13 different buttons for this sweater. It's just the designer of this sweater must have been having just so much fun making it because it's chaos. Also the name, Ættarmót, meaning family reunion. That's just icing on cake. That's just perfect. Also, I am so excited about getting started. I know it's gonna take me a long while because it's gonna be a lot of padding, a lot of like threads all over the place. Like it's gonna be chaos in making it. It's gonna be fun. Also because I haven't met anyone. I haven't heard about anyone who has tried making this sweater or lopapeysa, or is willing or wants to make this lopapeysa because it's chaos. It's all over the place. It's mismatched. It's just asymmetrical. And I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. I love it because it's so chaotic and I haven't heard anyone who says they like it. I have heard so many people talk about just the thought of making it or seeing it makes their brains hurt. And I don't know what it says about me that the thought about making this one and then wearing it in public so people can see it. I can't wait. I don't know what that says about me because I'm literally talking about breaking people's brains with a sweater. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Because I know the people, absolutely wonderful, loving human beings. I can't wait to see their reactions. I am thinking particularly about one person in particular. I'm like, because before the pandemic hit, like this is from early in the year, this pattern book, and I do remember gushing over this one, and people were not in agreement with me. Thankfully, like, can you imagine if the world was just full of people where everyone just agreed with everything? That just sounds terrible. That sounds, ugh. There would be no new ideas. There would be no like, oh, wait. There would be no different points of view. Ew. Like, listen, going off on a tangent, but it's good that people don't agree. It's good. It's good that people have different opinions. It's good. It's healthy. Because a society where everyone agrees on everything and everything just follows the same pattern and nothing ever changes is a stagnant pool. And stagnant pools are dead. A society that doesn't change or allow different opinions is dead. I am talking about a woolen sweater. Well, anyway. I have all the wool for it. Oh dear. I've got the well, lighting is so terrible. Like, this is the thing about living in this close to Arctic Circle, which, by the way, I've never lived anywhere else than Iceland. 32 years in Eastern Iceland, 4 years in Northern Iceland. I'm used to this winter darkness. I don't know any other way of living. I am used to the sun disappearing for like 3 months. Yeah, it's about 3 months plus a bit more, because usually around this time and this season we tend to have overcast skies, so it's usually 3 months plus. I'm used to it. The bad thing is that now I'm dedicated to making weekly videos, meaning that I have a very narrow window of opportunity to actually have light to work with. Excuse my phlegmatism. But this is probably as good as it gets. I want to show you yarn colors. It's gonna be interesting. Anyway, I'm just gonna show you this. Okay. This is one of the colors that I was missing. This is basic white. It is showing up a little bit more creamier on my viewfinder. It might look a bit different on the monitor, but also because I don't have daylight, I only have like this warm ceiling light. Hang on. And then I have this warm bedside lamp. Is that better? Well, maybe. Anyway, white. One of the basic colors that I was missing. Basic, haha, pattern colors. The base color is this lovely, lovely grey, light grey. Yeah. Where are you? 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. 7 skeins of this lovely light grey color, and this is the base of the piece of the sweater. The patterns, like the we got the white, which looks honestly a little bit creamy, and then we have this darker grey. Looks a little bit blue on the viewfinder. It's absolutely lovely color. And then we have the mobile, like Meyer brown. But it's a brown with a bit of red in it, right? So we have this darker one, and this lighter one. And the second color that I was missing and got this weekend is this type of black. It's called Hölsvartur. Which honestly I have no idea how to translate it. It's like svartur means black. Hör, I have no idea what that is or how to translate it with English because I don't know where it is. But is this like speckled, lightly speckled black color? I have all the colors. I have all the yarn that I'm gonna need to make this chaos. It's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be so... Honestly, like, I'm gushing over it now. I know from experience that I'm probably going to be cursing this project of mine. I'm probably gonna curse myself for deciding to make something that is so pattern, because this entire thing, pretty much nothing but patterns. Like, we got this part in the sleeves, roughly the same length, and the body that are just plain colors. You know, the plain lovely light grey. Most of the rest of it is it's pattern. And I haven't knitted a pattern since... Yeah, it's been quite a while since I last knitted a lobe piece, and that's like, oh my lordy. A pattern lobe piece I think is close to 20 years. Yikes. Because may I have told you before, like in an earlier video, but when I was learning how to knit in my old school, like, my mother is a knitter, but she isn't a teacher of knitting. Like, she did tend to just do things for you. She did try to teach you, but she did tend to just do things, which doesn't really teach you much, but the did learn a lot from her though. I'm not detracting from that. I'm sorry, I'm not rambling. But at my little school, we had an absolutely wonderful teacher, and the way that we would learn how to knit, we did like. I'm trying to remember whether we knitted or crocheted like pot holders. I think it was crocheting, because then it's thicker. But the best way to learn how to knit, they had us knit lopapesa. So it's literally just diving into the deep end of the pool, because you learn everything that you need to learn about knitting by doing, and by also then you only had one project to review. I'm realizing that now. Because our teacher then only had to review that one big project instead of like a lot of them. But you learn everything. You learn how to cast on, how to increase, how to decrease, cast off. You learn how to purl and how to knit. You learn the difference of that. You learn how to do the patterns. You learn how to do the threads, how to better like keep the balls or skeins of yarn separated so that they aren't tangling all over the place. You learn how to because like with Icelandic lopapeysa or woolen sweaters, they are knitted in round, which is why I love them, because that means that you don't have like all the seams to do. The only seaming that you need to do is under the arm, like quite different from this one. This is the first time that I have knitted a sweater that isn't in the round, like this type of sweater. Knitting this box, alright, because this is a box, and then this kind of like trapezoid type of thing, and then swing it all together. It's fun, it's interesting, and it's doable. But to my Icelandic privileged little brain, it's like, oh, that's a lot of work though, isn't it? Because if you knit in a round, you don't have to do the seaming. I'm too lazy to do the seaming. I'd rather just knit it around, have it all done, and then all I have to do is just this little part here in the underarm region. I'm Icelandic, I'm lazy, I can't be bothered to do that, but you know, it's fine, I can do it. Also you learn how to, obviously how to, what's the word? Put the ends away. Right. So that's, I'm trying to remember how long, I think I was 13 or 14. Or younger, can't remember. So yeah, that's quite a long time ago. But I want to make this little pieces, I'm gonna do it. Yay! So also, I'm filming this on the 21st of November, on Saturday. You're gonna see this on Sunday the 22nd. But yesterday, on the 20th, that was my birthday. Oh! I am now officially 36 years old. And have you noticed the really weird thing, like, they don't do this with men. They don't do this with guys, but with women, people keep trying to be nice by saying that you look younger than you actually age. Like, which is very kind of them, I'm sure, but it just confuses me. Like, first off, I have never met a person who looks the age that they are, where they're at. Like, I have never met a person who is 32 years old and looks 32 years old. Like, what does a 32-year-old person look like? I don't know. I never met someone who looks their age. Like, kids, not even kids look their age. Very few people do, because this whole concept of looking your age is so weird. No one does. At least I've never met anyone. Also, this just ageism. Like, why is this a thing? Why should I be embarrassed about being 36 years old? I'm not. And most people aren't. I'm trying to figure out how to put this in English. Most people that I've met, I don't know how to put this in English. The picture is here, but the words are not coming out. Like, one guy was really, really nice and said that I looked 24 years old. I'm like, well, that's nice, but I'm 36 years old. And then he and my coworker were like ripping and all in good fun, mind you, which is why I don't take this seriously. But like this, oh, you should just take the compliment and la la la. I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. It's just this whole age thing is confusing to me because I'm 36 years old. I'm proud of being 36 years old. I have 36 years of experience and I'm still going strong. I survived this year. I survived the whole year. My goal is to survive next year. But yeah, this whole age thing, it just confuses me. And honestly, I don't think that I want to make it think that I want to understand. Like, I think this is gonna be one of those things that I'm just gonna back up and I'm just gonna put it to the side and I'm not gonna worry about it because there are so many things about how human psyche works that I just cannot comprehend. And instead of being upset about or not understanding it or not comprehending why other people think the way they do, I think it would be better for my mental health and stability to say, well, I don't understand it, and that's fine. Why did I go off on this tangent? Isn't it fun how the brain works? Like, you're talking about your birthday, and then you end up in some kind of philosophy about age and how the brain works. Like, weird. Anyway, I think I was telling you about being my birthday yesterday. First off, because I want to share it with you. Also because I gave myself a present and it did arrive in timely fancy. I think I got it on Tuesday. Got on Tuesday. So still haven't started reading it because I have all the big books. Listen, reading. Off another tangent. I have a Goodreads account where I have this like reading channels thing. Most years I read about 100 books. Easily. No problem. I think it was in 2016 rather than 17. I read 120 books. Like, I put my goal at like 80 books. And then I had to I kept having to increase it because I kept reading. And I think it was in August that I had finished 80 books by then. And I didn't want to finish the challenge until like at the end of the year. So I kept increasing, and I read about 120 books that yeah. So last year, because I've been taking up knitting again and crocheting, all that, and that takes time. Surprisingly, in case you haven't noticed, knitting and crocheting and working, just doing any kind of hobby, takes time. Who'd have thought? Big brain moment. But because of that, I don't have as much time to read as in previous years, because I have, my brain is just all over the place. With a brain like mine, I cannot sit and listen to an audiobook. I wish I could. I so wish I could. But I can't pay attention to what's being read. I can't. I have to be able to have the book, either in like physical form or on a Kindle or something like that. And I have to be able to read words because my brain does not pick up what's being said. I'm at work, when just communicating with other people, I'm listening, I'm paying attention, but that's it. When I get home and I'm trying to relax, I can't relax if I'm listening to a story. My brain just goes vroom. I have to be able to have the book, to put a bookmark back in and put the book down when my attention goes somewhere else. You can't, don't feel like you can't quite do that with an audiobook, because with an audiobook I would have to like go back a little bit to catch the thread again and then keep going and then cutting out again because my attention goes boom. But with a book, I can just open it and then just read the sentence back and go. Anyway, books. I'm in the mood today. I got this absolutely cool book, and it's thick. Oh yeah, I was talking about the before I talk about the book. This year I only put like 60 books. It's November 21st. I have just over a month to go. I haven't even read 30 books. But I still want to meet the challenge. It's like at the beginning of the year, I'm like 60 books, no problem. I read that every year. Not this year. I'm struggling. I put 60 books in so I wouldn't struggle, and I'm struggling. It's funny. This probably means that I'm going to be reading a lot of like light novels, because that was actually also the goal with this year. I was going to read more novels. I haven't. Need to do that because it does bring good to just read something light. But books, yes, not light. This is not light. This is thick, nice book. And it's a cool book. How cool is that? So this is the Fleece and Fiber source book by Deborah Robson. My pronunciation. Deborah Robson and Carol Icarius? Yeah. Anyway. These guys. And they have just everything. All the wools and fibers of the animals, like obviously sheep. And big part of this book is sheep breeds. They have goats, alpacas, llamas, vicuñas, camels, bison, musk oxen, yaks, and more. They have Angora rabbits. They have, if I remember correctly, they also touch down on like human hair, which I'm sure you can find somewhere on the internet pictures of what people have been making with hair. Unfortunately, I don't have the pictures. Years and years ago, I went with my school to a museum in Northern Iceland. I think it was in Húsavík. Something Húsavík. I think. I can't remember. It was a really nice museum in small town Northern Iceland. I unfortunately don't have the pictures because they're on my old computer, and my old computer is not cooperating with me right now, or hasn't been for like 2 years. Anyway, and this museum is like a folk museum, I think is a word, and they have so many cool things. And one of the coolest things that I saw there was their collection of jewelry, particular, and a lot of things that people had been making out of their own hair. And it was so cool, because human hair, like, we generally just wear it. Like, most people just like brush it, throw it back, and just meh, whatever. The things that you can do with human hair is so cool. Like one of the Icelandic sagas, Saga. And one of the before the end of it, like before the main hero is killed, because that's usually how the sagas end. He and his wife have a very tumultuous relationship, and for centuries his wife had been just for being selfish and self-serving and mean to her husband, because at the end of it, when basically he was sentenced to leave the country for 3 years before he was allowed to return, and instead of doing that, he decides to stay, which means that he was a réttarbur. It means that his enemies could come and kill him without repercussions. And which is what happens. His wife, as I said, they had very tumultuous relationships. Well, also when you look in recent years, people have been looking back and saying, well, actually, they were probably the most loving couple. Because they just, yes, they, like, they didn't, anyway. I don't know how to explain it because it's been quite a while since I read the saga, but basically, what I'm getting at is that one of the last scenes that they have together, he bids her to cut off her hair and weave him a bowstring. And she basically says, no, can't do. Can't do it. And you know, things go as they go, and people have been judging her for centuries because she wouldn't cut off her hair and spin it into a bowstring. A few years ago, one man stood up and said, "You're being rather ridiculous about this woman, aren't you? Have you tried taking human hair and spinning it into a bowstring?" Most people, no, they haven't. I think he tried, or at least pointed out that human hair, you know, these things, is extremely difficult to work with. Like, you need, if you're gonna, you can make a bowstring. They exist, they have existed, because this is a resource just like anything else. But you need time. And what those two people didn't have was time. So judging this woman for her inaction, her refusal to do the things that would have saved her husband, because it wouldn't have, they didn't have the time. So I keep thinking about that every time I think about what people make out of human hair, because this scene is just, it pounds you. It's just like, in the heart, because you can still see the love between them. It's just, it's heartbreaking and it's still so strong. It's just like, if you can't read the sagas, I would recommend. They're a bit of a slug. Like, not gonna lie, they are. Well, they were written in the 12th century, so they are a different type of story, but they are. If you can read them, I would recommend it. If not, then meh. Anyway, we were talking about hairs, and also because I do mention human hair. Have you ever tried actually working with human hair? That I would be very, very interested in learning if you have, because honestly, I think human hair is difficult fiber, I'm gonna guess. But this book, like, I haven't started reading it, but it looks so cool. Like, they also have here, like, a very, very small portion. They, like, mention reindeer and cows and horse. So, you know, you can, if you're dedicated, got time. They got chinchilla, possum, New Zealand possum, silver fox. Can you imagine using fox fur? Wolf, cat, border collie, corgi, akbas, something called nice dog. I mean, aren't old dogs nice? I thought there was one with the dromedary. I thought they had, where is it? It's muskox, rabbit, angora. I thought, I'm making very good content of me just looking down. Where is it? Pretty certain that they had one with human hair, or at least mentioning it. Ooh. Oh no, I'm annoyed. I could have sworn I found it here. Woman, where are you? Because this book's isn't it like, anyway, so because this book looks so interesting, And it's really, really interesting. There's so much material here. So cool. Like, they go over all the types of alpaca, the goats, the camels, the what in the world are you? Ooh, it's a wild Pesora goat. That's a pretty animal. Very pretty animal. But obviously, being an Icelander with a native breed of Icelandic sheep, hey, and you know, working with a wool from processed wool from Icelandic sheep, I am immensely interested in sheep. And honestly, to be fair, I like you know, sheep are quite different depending on the breed, the location. There you are. It's a California red. I honestly think this is one of the prettiest sheep. Look at the color of it. Also, this like flap here is so interesting. But yeah, I quite like sheep. Ooh, here's a majestic one. It's a Wales Mountain and South Wales Mountain. Da-da-da! Sheep! Can you? Oh, so cute. There was a picture here of Icelandic sheep. This is just... I mean, everything in this book is so... correct. Ah, Mr. Summer. But this book has so much information, I can't wait to just give myself the time to just get into it. Because all the... oh, do have quite a bit about it. Cool. 168. Here we go. There are my locals. I also love the fact that they talk about the Thel and... forgot the word. Thel og Tór. The two... how do they explain it? Yeah, the outer coat, which is called Tór, and the undercoat, which is called Thel. I also love the fact that they talk about the leadership, because Fóðurstifir, they are special. So you know how sometimes, well, a lot of times people are under the impression that sheep are stupid. Sheep are not stupid. At least not in Iceland. Like, they do not survive in this country by being stupid. The stupid sheep is a dead sheep, basically. They are very clever about paying attention to the weather, the how to find shelter, food. They are survivalists. Okay, they can survive. There is a breed of sheep within Iceland that is called leader sheep or Fóðurstifir. And they are very clever. They are stubborn, they are intelligent, and they are bred to lead the other sheep, because these sheep are natural born leaders. I realize that this may sound a bit weird, but we have leader sheep, and some farmers don't like leadership because they are stubborn and they are decisive and they are very dependent, and they will guide the other sheep. If the farmer and his leadership sheep do not gel together, there will be war on the farm. On the other hand, if those two like work together, if they gel together, if they have the like the same mindset, basically. I don't think that's the right word, but if they manage to work together, you have a very, very strong team. Like, everyone working together on the same like end goal. Because here's the thing, leadership are, I'm getting a little bit geeky about sheep, I'm sorry, but leadership sheep, they will work on behalf of their sheep. And sometimes the farmer and the leader aren't in agreement when to come down from mountains or when to go into housing and stuff like that. Some of the stories that you can hear is just, and then what happened? It's funny, but so here's me geeking. This has been a bit of a strange video, hasn't it? Oh my god, 51 minutes. If you held out with me this long, thank you, but I think that is generally the longest that I have managed to sit down and talk about nothing. So yeah. Wow, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. I do realize there's a bit of the front that I need to cut out. Because yeah, anyway. So that's been me talking about all and nothing today. So yeah. Still working on my Saga on Fléttu. I've got all the yarn to make Ættarmót or Chaos Incarnate. I got myself a big hefty book for my birthday present. And I've been talking a lot about things. Interesting. So, if you held out this long, thank you for listening to me rumble. I'm a little bit surprised at myself now. But again, thank you for watching and we'll see you later. Bless bless.